Wow. Great job. Great job. Wow. We can see all the wonderful things happening in our district and in Southwest area. And now we are ready for our second presentation. We will now listen to Mr. Ulrich Smith. He is the coach for Central Network from our Family and Community Engagement Office, who will share information about effective parent to teacher communication. Welcome, Mr. Ulrich Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Mesa. Again, Ulrich Smith with the Central Network. I am the trainer and the coach, and today we are going to talk just for a few minutes about effective parent to teacher communication. So thank you to all the parents that have carved out time to spend with us on this Saturday. Your dedication to your child's education is evident. And so, by the way, Southwest Network, you guys have won the video game. These are the most impressive videos I have ever seen, how you've incorporated technology, and I am so impressed. So I'm gonna have to incorporate some of this into our network fam jam when we have ours. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We can go to the next slide. Let's talk about what we'll learn today. We have 5 areas where we'll kind of focus in on. Of course, we'll talk about parent to teacher communication. We'll also talk about some various tips on ways to communicate with your child's teacher, how to receive support if your child is experiencing behavioral issues. We also are going to talk about how to have a successful parent-teacher meeting. And lastly, we'll talk about creating a space at home that supports learning. All right, we'll go to our next slide. Effective parent-to-teacher communication occurs when relationships are built on trust, and teachers and parents can have those authentic conversations. Both the teacher and the parent can share their expectations for this upcoming school year. Want to make sure that our communication is proactive. What do I mean by proactive? That we don't wait for something negative or bad to happen before we start conversations and discussions regarding the child. And then almost as important, but really important, is that both the teacher and the parent feel heard and understood. And so it's not just a one-way conversation where the teacher dictates the whole discussion or the parent dictates the whole discussion, but both the teacher and the family, they feel heard and understood. And so now we want to make sure families and schools are true allies in the educational experience of the student. And that will lead to success, not just at school, but as they move further on in life. Next slide. Now, research has told us that when teachers and parents are in regular communication, the student is more likely to commit their homework assignments, meaning they'll earn higher grades. They're more likely to participate in class because they're excited about the learning that they're receiving, the teaching they're receiving in class, which in turn makes them feel good about school. Now, that's important. When a child feels good about school, man, there are no limits to what that child can achieve. And of course, when they feel good about school, behavior problems are less likely to occur. And then when we make sure that the parent and the teacher have the right phone up-to-date contact information, and they have a regularly scheduled communication time, man, that will help that student have a fulfilling academic experience. So you want to make sure you have a regularly scheduled process to communicate with your teacher, and your teacher can communicate regularly with you. Next slide. Now, why and how to communicate with your child's teacher. Now, obviously, if you're able to talk on a regular basis, not every day, but on a regular basis, where you can talk to the parent, the teacher about what's going on with your child, it will help give strategies that the teacher can use in the classroom. If you know what works to motivate your child in a certain area, you can share that with the teacher, and the teacher can incorporate it if possible. And that again puts that child in a position to succeed. It helps the teacher understand the strong points for your child and areas where they need to improve. And then the teacher has an understanding on how to uniquely work with your child to help them succeed. So those are the why and hows of communicating with your child's teacher. Next. Again, talking about research, the more contact that teachers and parents have with each other about that particular student's educational, even emotional or behavioral needs or physical needs, home environment, the teacher and the school can work together with the parent and the community to help get those needs met. When you put the child as the focal point of the conversations, positive conversations, if at all possible, that's going to help the teacher be a better teacher. It'll also improve the relationships between parents and teachers. When teachers understand families better, they understand the culture of the family, understand what dreams, what goals and visions they have for their child, that teacher has a better angle on reaching your child in a unique way that they can. And again, it all adds up to that child having an academic experience that will lead to his success above and beyond school, but as they move throughout life. Those are the benefits of parent communication with their child's teacher. Next slide. Communication tips for parents. Now, there are structures in place to help parents talk to their child's teacher, counselor, even administrative staff. One of your first steps is to contact the main office and find out, if you don't know already, find out when that teacher's planning period is, or the best time for that teacher to communicate with you or for you to communicate with that particular teacher. You can also talk with the family engagement point of contact. They can kind of liaison or broker a conversation or discussion with that child's teacher. They can't catch them via email or by phone call. A lot of times teachers are extremely busy and don't get a chance to check their emails as often as they like. You can also contact the family and community engagement liaison or parent instructor so that they can help broker a meeting and you can have a proactive conversation with that teacher. Of course, if you have that teacher's email address, most email addresses are updated on the school's website. Maybe the teacher gave out the emails during Meet the Teacher night. You can email that teacher and give it 24 hours, maybe 48 hours to get a response. But 9 times out of 10, that teacher will always respond. And if you have a concern or if you want to ask some questions, don't be impatient. Again, they have 20, 25 kids in their class, and so everybody's pulling on them for something. So give them some time to respond, but always you can fall back on contacting the main office or that family engagement PLC. If you can't come to the school, of course, with the pandemic, that's kind of a restriction now, but you can always set up a Zoom meeting with the teacher. For the most part, if you don't have a Zoom account, teacher, they do that. They'll set up a Zoom meeting with you so you can meet virtually. You can do it by your phone or even by your your child's device, and you can discuss your concerns or get your questions answered during that meeting if you cannot physically come to the school and talk to the teacher. So those just are a few of the communication tips for parents. One thing I'll add there, the teacher, the school should have your updated phone number, email address, so that they can contact you. That is so important. If there is an issue at the school or the nurse needs to contact you, make sure that the teacher has your phone number, updated phone number, email address, so that they can communicate with you proactively as well. So just a few communication tips for you to get in touch with your child's teacher. All right, next slide. Now, let's say you have a Zoom meeting and you're discussing issues with the teacher. Now, I'm going to probably tell you some things that you already know, but believe it or not, we've had issues with these particular things, and so it would be remiss of us if we didn't just address it. So we want to make sure when we're on the Zoom, the video, that we have our appropriate clothing on. We want to make sure that no smoking, no alcoholic beverages or anything going on. And if you have to mute or turn your camera off, please do so. Just let the teacher know, hey, I got something going on in the background, but I'm still here. I'm still listening. And so you can have a less disruptive conversation. Your conversation can be focused without any distractions. And so just a few heads up, little information just to make sure you have a successful Zoom conference with your child's teacher. And that goes for the teacher too. So it goes without saying, but I just wanted to throw that in there. All right, next slide. Now, this is important. This is super important. You want to create a space that supports the learning environment at the school. That almost emulates, if possible, the learning environment at school. So at home, we want to make sure that our children have a routine and an area where they can do their homework, they can read, do research. And so these are just 4 quick tips to help with that particular space for at-home learning. You want to make sure that the space is quiet as much as possible and well lit. Why well lit? Well, we want to make sure if they have to read, they're not straining their eyes to read their books or their handouts or their screens. And we'll make sure it's quiet. Of course, we don't want our children distracted. Okay, so if you have more than one child, maybe your routine is that everybody does their homework at the same time. If possible, everybody's in the same place so that they can get that done in a required amount of time to make sure that they're maximizing their time doing their homework. Of course, we want the area to be comfortable and near an outlet. Of course, if they have to plug in a device, an iPad or one of the Chromebooks, you want to make sure they can do that. We don't want them to be too comfortable, okay? And so, again, we want to kind of emulate or kind of have the same type of environment that the school has, so they can have the same posture to sit up and do their work and not be so comfortable where they're laying down and slouching or they're uncomfortable trying to manipulate several devices. So we want a desk, if you have one, or a kitchen table, not a coffee table, because that means they're going to have to be on their knees, and that's going to be uncomfortable for a while and trying to sit up, and that just kind of will distract them from the task at hand. Of course, you don't want, like I said, you don't want them on the couch. That tends to make kids want to lay down, and they won't maximize their time doing their homework. And lastly, try to avoid the living room if you can, because kids will always, their eyes, even adults, where our eyes will always divert to the TV to see what's going on, and we can't focus on what we're supposed to be doing with the homework or any type of assignments or work that we have to do. So those are just 4 quick tips on creating a space for at-home learning. Hopefully you can get those, or you already have that, and so your child can maximize their homework time. All right, we can go to the next slide. Now, Dallas ISD has always had a system that supports not just the teaching and learning in school, but also the behavioral and emotional issues that arise from time to time with our students. And so what it's called is the multi-tiered system support. And of course, like I said before, it addresses any type of behavioral or emotional issues. They help with the monitoring of that. If your child's gotten off track with academics and they need support, that includes a behavioral support or emotional support, that multi-tier support system is in place for that. They conduct student behavior and emotional assessments. They come up with a plan of action. They have interventions. They have meetings that help deal with the student, get that student back on track. And of course, the parent is always included in these meetings because you know your child better than we do. So your information and your insight, your viewpoint is important to the success of the meetings, which leads to the success of getting your student back on track. Also, they can refer you to other resources to get the help that you need, so that everything is, for lack of a better statement, helps get your child the help that they need so that they can continue to be successful in their academic experience at the school. So the multi-tier system of support, you can talk to your counselor about it, your administrator or the principal, and they will direct you if that is a need that you have or that your child has. Multi-tier system of support. All right, we can go to the next slide. Lastly, we'll talk about parent resources. Now, there are tons of parent resources, family resources at Dallas ISD, and the main thing we want to emphasize is that parent and teacher communication is essential. And not just one-way communication, as I said before, but two-way communication, where the parent and the teacher are both heard and understood. The parent can talk to the family, the parent can talk to the teacher about their concerns and have questions. The teacher can do likewise. And so we look forward to communicating and talking and collaborating with our parents to make sure that behavior, grades, attendance, assignments, all of that is accomplished where that child can be successful. One of our options, or here are 3 of our options, if you haven't already, when you got enrolled, you have your Power School Parent Portal account. You can take a picture of this screen, and the link is right there to help you get your parent portal or your Power School account. Also, like I said before, make sure the school has the nurse, the teacher, the administration, they have your updated contact information, which includes your email address. If you prefer to be contacted by phone, of course, like I said, that number is important. Make sure they have that. There are apps that help parents and teachers communicate with each other. Remind 101, if they have that at your child's school. www.remind.com. Class Dojo is another one, www.classdojo.com. So if any of those apps are used, download them so you can get the most out of your relationship with your child's teacher. And of course, they can reciprocate that and talk to you as well. I appreciate you guys giving me this time to just talk to you really briefly about the benefits of parent to teacher communication today. I hope you guys get the best and the most out of the rest of the Fam Jam, and I will sign off and turn it back over to our MC. Thank you so much.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Smith. If you give us a second.
Absolutely.
First question. I would like to speak with teachers about my child's grade, but I don't know how he's doing. What do you recommend I do?
Oh, great question. Really, we had, if you could go back, uh, slide moderator, could you go back a few slides to communication tips with parents? Okay, here. Uh, these are your steps. If you want to get in contact with that child's teacher, contact the main office and let them know, I want to have a conversation with my teacher to kind of find out more about what's going on with my child's grades. They should in turn communicate with that teacher that uh, your request, the urgency of your request, and if possible, that teacher should be able to get back to you within 24 hours. If you have that teacher's email address, email them. That email address is on the website. So make use of it. If you that doesn't if that takes more time, you can talk with the community engagement uh, POC, and they will broker that conversation with you. And the teacher will set up a method for you guys to talk either face to face or virtually, whichever is appropriate for you. But those are the steps to take um, to get in contact with your child's teacher. I hope that
Oh,
helps.
yes, it did. Thank you so much. I have one more question for you. I have information that can help teachers understand my child and have heard about the home to home visits. How do those work and can I participate?
Great question again. I'm going to say a couple of things, and I'm gonna refer you to Ms. Herrera. But home to home visits is a program through the Family and Community Engagement Office that allow the teacher to either come to your house to do a home to home visit, maybe 30 minutes, and have a conversation about your child and teaching and learning, to kind of start a relationship with you. Uh, and it's beneficial in the sense that you get to know the teacher gets to know you, they follow up with you, and you're able to talk to the teacher about what your child's interests are and how that teacher can participate in both of you guys and develop a teamwork where both of you guys can contribute to that child's academic success and them reaching that goal or reaching accomplishing that vision to be a journalist or to be a athlete or to be someone that's an actor. So that's the purpose of home to home visits, building that trust and relationship so that child can experience academic success and reach their goals. I'm going to ask Raylene to kind of talk about if the schools have home to home visits at in her area, the Southwest Network.
So some of my schools do. You would need to ask your campus or your student's teacher if they are a part of the home-to-home visit project. So if they have been to the trainings and done the professional development for the home-to-home, they are more than welcome to ask the teacher about that and schedule a visit. So it is up to the parents if they want to do a virtual visit or have them come to their home. It's totally up to the parents.
Can I add one thing, Ms. Herrera? Next week, and hopefully the schools are on the call. Next week, I think we have 2 more training opportunities for teachers to be a part of the home to home visits. Now, Ms. Herrera is probably sending out that information to the school. She may send it out again. So hopefully your school will decide to, or the teachers will decide to participate. And that's the main way you can get a home-to-home visit. And they're really beneficial. So Southwest Network, if you don't have everybody on board for home-to-home visits, man, we have 2 more opportunities to get teachers trained. And Ms. Herrera will probably talk to you more about that come Monday. All right. Any more questions from me?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys for allowing me to participate.